right, good morning, agents. I'm Kevin Lauren. This is our webinar for today is going to be about the open house best practices. So this is something that all agents need to hone their skills on. And we've got some really cool techniques and some stuff to do that maybe you guys haven't done before. So this will be an awesome webinar. Glad you guys are here. Before we get into today's presentation, we're going to bring Bill Seitz, the corporate broker for ARG, on the line. Good morning, Bill. How are you today?
Good morning, Kevin. Good morning, everybody. How are we?
We're doing fantastic.
How's my my audio? I'm testing a new headset.
It's good. It sounds a tiny bit, let's say, it sounds good. It's like got a little bit of a minor buzz to it, but it sounds clear enough.
Let me try without it. Hold on. I want to make sure it's clear.
Yeah. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Clearer.
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. All right. Just want to make sure. Sometimes, these new toys don't work as well as they advertise.
I'm well aware of that.
All right. Well, yes. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Kevin. Good morning, Alta agents. Here we are, week number 2 for our 2025 trainings and webinars and marketing everything Wednesday for Alta Realty Group. I want to welcome Robert Frias to the brokerage. I'm not sure if Robert's on this morning. Hopefully he is, but he's a new agent, so he has joined the team. So welcome, Robert, if you're on the webinar this morning.
Yeah,
got a short list here, Kevin, to go through before we kind of dig into the presentation about open house, if you don't mind.
Yeah, of course.
First and foremost, just wanted to do a fire update. Obviously, this has been a massive issue here in Southern California. I myself actually drove by the fires last weekend. I was on the 405 freeway, saw them firsthand for myself. Pretty I mean, you can't even put words around it. Devastation is absolutely just mind blowing. And I hope all of you guys that are in that area are okay. I think most of us that live here in Southern California probably know at least a few people that have been affected by the Palisades fire or the fire up in near Pasadena. I think that was the Eaton fire.
Yeah.
But in that, obviously there's going to be a lot of displacement with housing and a lot of issues. And I don't know if you guys got this, but I'm just going to share it with everybody in case if you did get it and didn't see it. But there was a licensee advisory from the DRE yesterday that came out about 3:00 yesterday. And so I'm just going to read this really quick because it's just important for all of us to recognize what happens in these really severe situations. So basically says the DRE warns against price gouging in wildfire areas. And unfortunately, Southern California is experiencing record-setting wildfires this year and has led to the evacuation of thousands of people and the loss of hundreds of homes. Let's make that thousands of homes. With this in mind, the California Department of Real Estate reminds licensees and consumers that price gouging is a criminal offense in counties where a state of emergency has been declared. So obviously, LA County is a state of emergency at the moment. And anti-price gouging law is triggered when the emergency declaration is issued and applies to rental housing, including hotels, motels, as well as consumer food items and other goods and services, and continues for 30 days from the date of that declaration unless it is extended. To protect California consumers affected by wildfires, the DRE will diligently investigate complaints of unlawful price gouging related to rental housing by licensees and will take appropriate disciplinary action if the evidence warrants. Penal Code Section 396 is intended to protect victims of disasters from being further harmed. Price gouging is punishable by a fine of up to $10,000 and or imprisonment up to 1 year. So basically, obviously, a lot of people displaced, lots of housing issues. Uh, Unfortunately, there's people out in this world that will try to take advantage of these situations. If you know a client that has a rental property and they're you want to help fulfill this need, or you have friends or families, just make sure they're doing it above board. Don't be the one that's taking advantage or charging excessive amounts, because you're possibly susceptible to price gouging laws here in California. So just wanted to go through that real quick, Kevin.
Yeah, that's, and we at Alta Realty Group, we do not want agents in our brokerage that participate in that kind of thing. So don't do it.
Yeah, it's just
You'd be
a
fired.
reminder. We'll keep an eye on it. I'm not, like I said, I don't know if you guys get that. I don't know if it's just the broker. I don't know what if they send it out to every licensee, but that was sent to me yesterday. Last week, I was on a car meeting. Car invited some of the bigger brokerages of California. So it was nice for them to include us in that meeting. It was kind of a roundtable type discussion about car, what they could do better, what's going on in the industry, and most of that material, or most of the discussion, was really around the BRBC, the new buyer broker contract. And my takeaway from it was, I don't care who you are or what brokers you are, Compass, Remax, Century 21, and Berkshire Hathaway, they're all struggling with this, every single one. And so, you know, it actually made me feel pretty good, to be honest, just from being proud that we were kind of getting after this really right on the ball last summer, and
Yeah.
really trying to spend time with it and keep reinforcing it. And I feel like we've chosen to swim downstream with these new rules and laws instead of trying to fight it. To me, I heard other brokers, were still like, kind of trying to push back against it. I don't really see what that does as a benefit to any of us. If changes do come, obviously they will come naturally, but I don't see the reason behind. We might not agree, and certainly I had made that my position. I don't agree with all of it. But at the same time, what are we going to do? We're going to sit there and fight this thing till we're spending energy in other places. That doesn't make sense to me. So, anyways, that was interesting. So that was our kind of the feedback from the car meeting last week. Um, if you weren't on last week's forms training and law changes that we did with Lauren, I encourage everyone to go back and watch it again. I'd actually watched it myself last night again because I wanted to go back through it. And there's definitely a few things that I uh, didn't catch or retain. So that is up, I think, on our YouTube, right, Kevin?
Absolutely. You can get there by going to our training videos or just going to our YouTube channel, and it's right here.
Perfect. So if you weren't on that last week, that's a good one just to kick off the year. And then also, we got our phone system kind of reorganized in the sense that everyone is connected to one corporate phone number. So I think we could probably put that into the replay. I can also put it into the chat. Uh, the direct number for the company is 888-504-5327. You should all plug that into your phone. Not that you don't have some of our, phone numbers direct, but this is where you can find everybody in one directory. So whether it's, myself or Kevin, or recruiting with Tim and Don, or Abidan with finance, commission payments, and even compliance. So everything is really organized now in one spot. So if you have this number plugged into your phone, your directory will pop up and you can access any one of the departments that you're looking for, and not have to scroll through your phone and feel like you're missing somebody's phone number. So that should help everyone with that. And then lastly, Debbie is at an appointment, given her 2 outs last week and this week, but that's okay because we got a lot of stuff to cover. Um, she's at
That's
the
for
Palm
sure.
Springs Association of Realtors meeting this morning, so I can't fault her too much. She's out there networking, which is what we all should be doing when we're not at the computer. But we do have a new investor that can do. I just got Clearview Mortgage signed up with a new investor that can do foreign borrower, all types of different loans. So if you're Canadians or a foreign national, or you have a investment property, or if they have equity, you want to get cash out or refinance or do purchases, we have a an option now for foreign buyers. So that's actually a nice little niche for people that are either snowbirds or people that want to have a second home in California. Maybe they're, like I said, Canadian or another, foreign nationality. We have a place for them. So that's it for me, Kevin.
Awesome. Yeah, so that's just another arrow in the quiver of the Clearview Mortgage bundle of all the different things that Clearview can do to make sure that whoever the client is, we've got a solution for them, right, Bill?
100%. So we come across a lot of different scenarios. Debbie, myself, the rest of the Clearview team. So we're constantly trying to find solutions. That's just what financing is. Everyone kind of thinks it fits in a little box. It doesn't. It's a very broad box, and there's a lot of different ways to help your clients. And as Debbie always says, a lot of people get turned down because people don't know how to think outside the box,
Yeah,
and they can come over to our team and we can find a way to do it. So um, we're here to help.
absolutely. No two loans are the same, right?
Typically not.
It's good stuff. All right, I just have the 10-year treasury. We can see that we are still peaking out. We're coming down a tiny bit, but always good for you guys to bookmark this page or bookmark any page that shows the 10-year and just keep your eye on that, right, Bill?
Yeah, that's pretty much a direct whatever that graph's doing. That's basically what mortgage rates are doing. So if you see it drop, like yesterday, it was up basically higher than it's been in a year. And I was reading this morning about the core inflation and a lot of the fundamentals that go into the bond market and stuff. And so it pulled back quite a bit this morning. I think it's what is it, 12 basis points? There it is. Yeah, 12 basis points. It pulled back today. So,
Yeah.
we have a Fed update coming shortly. We've got a new administration coming in on Monday. Let's keep an eye on it. I will share one more statistic. I was reading through the California housing forecast last week, and they are anticipating 10% increase in transaction volume. So that's good news, and that listing inventory has increased. So hopefully that'll take some pressure off of some of these competitive markets, and also we'll have more opportunities and more options and more selection for our buyers. So that was the encouraging thing. More transactions means we have opportunities for more deals. More deals means we can make more money, and we can have hopefully a more profitable year than 2024.
Yeah, it's all related.
Yep, it all ties together. So I will stop talking and let you get after it.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Bill. Appreciate the update as always. So let's jump right into it. So open houses are an amazing way for you to showcase yourself, not only to your seller, but also to other potential buyers and sellers. So it's really kind of like you have an opportunity you're on the stage, right? You have an opportunity to put your best foot forward to make sure that people that come into your open house see the quality of professional that you are. So it's like there's almost no better way to get your name out into a community, especially in your farm. So if you're working a farm, open houses are probably the pinnacle of what you can do as an agent to solidify yourself in that area and make sure that everybody neighbors and everybody else sees your face. They see your practices. They see your techniques. That's going to get you additional listings. So it's paramount that you do these open houses, and I do believe that you should do these yourself. Sometimes you've got a prior engagement or something like that, but the open houses need to be done by the broker, or I'm sorry, by the realtor. because it is the #1 way to promote yourself. So, a few different best practices. Um, Before you do your open house, it is really a good idea to do some promotion on social media. It's super easy too. So you're going to want to put that, some kind of a social media post. You're going to want to boost that post. And boosting the post means you're going to be putting it out into advertising land. And so if you're unfamiliar with that, what you'll do is you'll create a social media post, and there's a special little blue button at the bottom on Facebook as well as Instagram that will allow you to put that advertisement in front of other people that are not following you. So when you do a social media post, people that follow you, they're going to see that in their feed. But in order to get that outside of your sphere of influence and people that actually follow you, you do need to do a what's called a boosted post or a Facebook/Instagram advertisement. So step one, do that. You're able to target the local area. Sometimes with real estate, I think they have us pegged to a 15-mile radius now. But still, you're going to want to put that in front of as many eyes as possible. They allow you to set the budget. So more budget means more eyes and more views and what they call impressions. So it's just a function of making sure that the local people in the area know that that's happening. And of course, you're also going to be putting that on your local MLS and Zillow and things like that. You're also able to, put that information on your single property websites. If you have a Sierra Interactive account and you're part of our program 2, which I recommend to everybody, that of course is $99 a month. And so that's just step one. That's an easy thing to do. Obviously, signage is very important as well. You're going to want to have, open house signs in the area, as many as possible, or as many as you're allowed to put out. Some developments and some subdivisions, they limit that, and so just be respectful of that. But you're going to want to make sure that the signage is perfect and it is very, very clear. Your name's on the open house signs, your phone number's on the open house signs, not just a generic open house this way. So super important. Number 2 would be use videos and virtual tours. So it's really a great idea to make sure that your single property website has a video and or virtual tours. Matterport tours, the Zillow tours is a very important thing for you to do. And with our photography partner, Preview First, they're experts in creating those Zillow 3D tours. And when you create one of those, Zillow loves it and they promote your listings. So it's a no-brainer. That's free. You don't have to pay Zillow anything. You just have to, play their game. So let me just share my screen with you guys, my other screen. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So here's an example of a recent listing from Allison. Allison just got this listing just this week, and this is a stunning property in Laguna Beach. Unbelievable. So this is an example of one of our single property websites that we use with the Sierra Interactive system. She did use Preview First, and so you can tell her photography is unbelievable. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Kevin, it looks absolutely, it highlights the quality of the property. It matches it. You know what I mean? And that's just like rule number 1. You want to showcase this property, and that looks amazing.
So if you're trying to, if you took this listing and you tried to do this stuff with your iPhone, first of all, you're blowing it. Second, it's not going to put your best, effort forward, right? And so having these stunning images, and this costs about $300, guys. It's not a lot of dough for absolutely gorgeous photos. And this was a banner day that they were able to, gorgeous winter day that they were able to take these images. But it really showcases exactly what what the buyer is going to be getting, right? And this property is just incredible. Yes, please. I don't have $4.6 million to spend, but this would be a nice one. And then they also have, let me just show you this. Included is they do the drone footage. So let me find a good drone shot for you guys. And so you're able to, and I'll show you the virtual tours and the 3D stuff in a second. But this stuff just makes the property pop. And of course, we're using these images to get the next listing. So if you, and this is a showpiece, right? But look at these gorgeous, this is the view from, from the place. This is a drone shot, of course. And so, this is included, guys. So you got to use preview first and or a high, a very, very high level photographer, right? I mean, this is just absolutely stunning, right? So getting back to here, we're also able to embed these video tours, right? You can go through the whole place. You can check everything out. You can walk through the place. And I'll show you a stat in a second here that's going to blow your mind. But people want to see these, especially buyers, the millennial, and now I forget what the next group is, but they want to see this stuff. They expect this now, right? And we've got the floor plan and all these different spots, or all these different, things that make these single property websites pop. So getting back to my graphic here. So the studies show that 50% of potential buyers would be willing to place an offer on a home based exclusively on a virtual tour. So you got to have it, right? And then 130% are more likely, and this is in the 18 to 34 age bracket, 130% are more likely to book a showing if you provide a virtual tour. So you have to do this. It's just, there's no excuse not to do these things. And like I said, it's very, very inexpensive. It's relatively inexpensive. And with the fee structure that you have with Alta Realty Group, it's very conducive to allowing you to spend that money and make sure that you are doing an absolute professional job of, you're not only representing your seller in the correct light and doing the absolute best for your seller, but you're promoting yourself, which is probably even more important, because that's what gets you the extra money, that gets you the extra stuff, right? Extra listings, more views, people respecting you in the community. So this is paramount. And then a 3D tour can lead to a 9% higher selling price. That's amazing. You're going to be, and you can show these stats to your sellers. Hey, this is what I do. And this is, as part of your listing presentation, you explain these things to your seller. You say, I utilize 3D tours. I do, Zillow tours. I make sure that there's floor plans, and I make sure that the photography is A plus. What seller is going to be pissed about that? Every seller expects that these days. So, and then a 31% chance of selling faster than those without a virtual tour. You know how people are these days. They want everything right away. They want everything at their fingertips. And the virtual tours really allow them to go through the house. And you really get the feel of, what's there. So number 3 would be invite the neighbors, of course. And I think it's a great idea to, when you're creating your open house, door knock. Let the neighbors know that you are the realtor for the area. Introduce yourself, invite them personally to the open house. You can even set up, if the open, like, oh, I can't make it on, Saturday from 1 to 3. No problem. Would you like me to schedule a time for you to come over? Absolutely. So those are the things that you need to be doing in the neighborhood prior. And it's even a good idea when you're doing that door knocking and inviting the neighbors to drop off a client welcome kit. And so those of you that have been with us for a long time, I'm a huge fan of our client welcome kit and developing that, and it's a handout. You can also give them a tiny little gift, like a little succulent plant or just something very, very minor that costs you, $1 or two. So that makes you look like, even if you're not yet, the main person to talk to in the area for real estate, right? So inviting the neighborhoods, very, very cool, very, very important. Number four would be put together a neighborhood highlights board. Why not? So some people are coming to these open houses from out of the area. Well, let them know what kind of things happen in the area, right? You can highlight, here's the schools, here's the best restaurants in the area, here's where the parks are, here's where the best places to go and walk your dog. All of those little things can be put together on a neighborhood highlight board, right? And then consider also including a local event calendar for the next month or two. So somebody that's coming from the out of the area can say, oh, whoa, this is the kind of stuff that goes on in Laguna Beach. We have the Laguna Beach, art festival coming up, and we have, a music festival or whatever it is. Having those little things really gives somebody that's from out of the area a local feel. So I think that's a really, really cool thing to do. And not a lot of agents do that. So everything that we're trying to do, we're trying to separate ourselves from the other agents. We don't want to be, run of the mill status quo agents. We want to be taking our business to the next level. And these are the things that separate you. So another great tip is to create a fun environment with activities for guests, right? You can have a raffle. You can have, you can partner with local businesses and say, hey, Mr. Coffee Shop owner, I'm doing an open house. Do you have any gift cards or do you have any, specials that you can offer? Restaurants, sponsor a date night, anything like that, and think outside the box. Take these ideas, run with them, come up with your own, spin on these things, right? You might even consider making, having a cocktail making class in in the open house, right? There's tons of stuff. Provide coloring books for kids, even have like a supervised play area and have an assistant help you with, watching, the kids, or having like a little, some kind of a little play area, right? So a lot of different things that you can do that most agents don't do. You can also hand out swag, right? You can have, a lot of agents like to, create things with, like a koozie for drinks, or they can, have notepads and water bottles and keychains and that kind of stuff. Hand those out. Uh, uh, Refrigerator magnets, any of those little things. Make sure you have something to hand out as a token of appreciation. It goes a long way. People respect that and people remember you. So really a kind of a simple thing that agents just don't do enough. Seven, offer refreshments. Absolutely. Always make sure that you have at least water bottles and or, maybe, glass of wine or whatever it is, whatever your style is, right? So really, really important to, offer refreshments, cookies, stuff like that. And here's a little pro tip. So if you choose to offer alcohol at an open house, research your local state laws to make sure that you're allowed to do so, right? In California, we're allowed to do that. And you also, don't want to get people drunk. You offer them a glass of wine, offer them a beer. You don't want to, have these people hanging out, right? So keep that to a minimum, but it does go a long way. A lot of people on a, Saturday afternoon, a Sunday afternoon, they would love a glass of wine. They would love a beer. So that's something to consider as well. Eight, don't forget the follow. This is the most important thing. So what I suggest, let me share my full screen with you guys. Or actually, yeah, let me show my full screen. Okay, so what I suggest is, oh wait, that's not working. Excuse me. Oh, no, I have to share this one. Okay. So what I suggest is at the open house, you can go down to Staples and you can buy one of these special little plexiglass screens for $11.49. And you're going to want to put in your, information here and a QR code. So let me share my other screen. So you're going to want to have something like this. So this is one that Allison and I created for her open house. And so you'll have this QR code ready, on the table, right, when they come in. And this allows for people to scan this with their iPhone and check in to the open house, right? Very, very important that we're collecting people's information. And so what'll happen is when they scan that, they're going to get sent to this page that we create. So this is an open house sign-in that we're able to create with our Sierra interactive pages. So this is super cool. Watch this. So we take the listing. So this is the listing page on Allison's website. Has all the information, great info. And so what we do is we literally, this is so cool, I think, is we put our cursor right here and we type in open house. Click return, and it turns this page into an open house sign-in sheet. How cool is that? So you're able to have somebody scan the QR code that's in the little plexiglass stand. They're able to come to this screen on their iPhone. Of course, this is mobile friendly, and it looks really cool on the mobile side. First name, last name, email, phone number, how soon you're looking to buy, and are you working with an agent? Submit. Super simple. Make sure that everybody does that. And you can also position this as this is important for our sellers. This is what we do for safety and for security. We do have to register everybody that comes in. And if they don't want to do that, well, they're not that serious. And you don't want to work with people like that. So you really do want to enforce this. So that's a really, really important thing to do as well. So let me get back to my graphic. So once they do that, they come into your CRM system. That's where we're able to follow up with a email drip campaign and or what the Sierra Interactive system calls action plans, which are a combination of emails and or voicemails and text messages. So we want to get them, you set up a specific action plan and or drip campaign for open house attendees. And so you'll have exactly, a nice succession of touches that are automatic. But absolutely imperative is to make the phone call. You've got to follow up with the phone calls as well. So research says that 44% agents stop following up with the lead after they receive a no. 22% stop receiving, after 2 no's. But it's important to, and so, okay, you follow up with a phone call, they don't answer, they don't want to talk to you. We at least have to have them on the automated touches. So we're getting some form of follow-up. We're getting some form of, engagement after the fact. So super important. 8 is collaborate with other agents in your area, network. Tell everybody, the other agents that work in the area, hey, I've got this listing. Let's collaborate. Bring me a buyer, right? So super important. And then 10, I guess I kind of skipped ahead with the QR codes here, but so with these internet listings, it's super easy to use QR codes. 2 different things that you should do. First of all, we went over this, set up a little iPad sign-in station with the QR code. That's what we did. Create a QR code that directs attendees to your contact information, website, social media profiles. You can do that as well. Or create QR codes linked to a virtual tour. right? So you can have, on that little sign-in sheet, you can have somebody, also be able to scan the individual virtual tour if they need it, right? So you can have multiple QR codes. Virtually stage empty rooms. That's a big one too for conceptualizing what the buyer can see in the home, right? So if the home is cluttery or if it's, just kind of outdated, it's a really good idea to stage it. And I know that that's a huge step and it's a big, big deal. But the fact is that 88% of staged homes sell faster and for 20% more than aren't staged. So it's an important thing to make that part of your process. Again, these, the average run-of-the-mill agent won't do that. So it's another opportunity for you to set yourself aside from the other agents in your community. So um, I know we went over a tiny bit, but I think this is such an important, uh, topic, and it's something that we need to focus on. So, Bill, any takeaways from our open house best practices webinar?
Yeah, I have several.
I bet you do.
Because I used to be the king of the open house. I used to do open house every Saturday, every Sunday,
I
uh,
know.
without fail. So I do have some expertise here. One, I want to give Allison Lloyd a little round of applause. She did an amazing job with this property. I actually spoke to her yesterday, and I think she's already getting potentially an offer on that property. So,
Yeah.
all those statistics that you mentioned, all the things that she has done to prepare the property and to get it showing in its best light, obviously paying off. So, to already be entertaining offers is outstanding. So, good job, Allison. Um, but a couple things just from that I think are everyone probably knows, but maybe forgets to do. One is to make sure you syndicate, you get it advertised into the MLS, right? So there's a place where you can put in the open house time, put in, which day you're going to do it. You can add in, whatever little refreshments, who's holding the open house, blah, blah, blah. And that will syndicate out to all of the big, mega, the Zillows and the Redfins and the everyone else in the world of real estate. So that's super important because people do, when you look at the views, like when you go on Zillow and just pull up a property, let's say you pull up this particular property here in Laguna, you can see how many views, you can see this and that. And so you can see what kind of traffic, online traffic it's getting just through the Zillow, portal or website. You might as well be advertising there as well, right? So is advertising the actual open house. And then signage to me is something that is just overlooked to a 10th degree by some agents. And to me, if you're an open house agent, and I know John Espinosa's kind of chimed in here on the chat and saying that he and Jennifer do it with all their listings, and that's outstanding. But I
And
think
they do
that,
it every weekend, which is amazing. That's huge, right?
yeah, and I think you really have to make that investment in having um, a proper amount of signs. There's no point in holding open house and having only 3 signs that are directing into your property one way, right? Most addresses you can get there multiple ways, and obviously you're going to maybe focus on the most high traffic areas, but putting out a proper amount of signs and getting that feeder kind of feeder direction into the property is so important. And I see a lot of agents that say, "Oh yeah, I'm doing open house," and then they have like 2 signs. It's like, and I'm like, "Oh, how was your open house?" They're like, "Oh, it was dead." you know, well, that's part of the reason, and
Well, why?
Jeff Brown, one of our agents out in out near Corona or Norco, he used to be what he used to call himself was Jeff. His tagline was Jeff knows Norco Hills, and he would do open house pretty much every weekend. But he would put his signs out, and he would put 15, 20 signs out, and maybe that's a tad bit overkill, but He got deals, he got buyers, and everybody in Norco Hills knew who Jeff Brown was. And so there's something to the signage component too.
No, I mean, it's absolutely imperative. And then you'll notice, on with the Sierra Interactive system, we're able to post our Allison was able to post the open house times. So this is really cool. So, when somebody comes to the page, it's open house Saturday, January 18th from 12:30 to 3. And it gives the directions. That's kind of fun. From PCH, turn inland to LaDroit Street. Turn right onto Hillcrest, right? That's pretty cool, right?
It all ties together.
Yeah.
And I don't care. This is obviously a fairly high price point listing, which is absolutely gorgeous. But I don't care if you're selling the $800,000 home, maybe a $500,000 two-bedroom condo. You have to get the proper photography and, like you said, floor plans, and you just have to put that as part of your expense budget for selling these properties. You're going to look like an absolute all-star. There's too many agents out there that don't do it. And so and that's why we have these Wednesday meetings. And this is why, we do these things. And, part of last week's Tuesday tip was, what changes can we make in 2025 that maybe we're not doing? Maybe we're not doing some of these things that we're talking about here today. Maybe we're leaving out some of these things. But, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. So, get out and get out of your comfort zone, or maybe implement something different that you haven't been doing, and let's get different results.
Yeah, and that's I think the biggest takeaway for today's webinar, Bill, is do something different than you did last year. And these are great tips. I know probably everybody on the call is not doing all of these things. So that, and the other takeaway is treat all of your listings the same. It doesn't matter the price point. If you treat those lower price point listings, and if you're normally getting lower price point listings, this kind of stuff is going to lead to the higher price points. So
100%. And lastly, one last thing, Kevin, on the staging works. Debbie, actually, our Debbie here from Clearview Mortgage, actually had referred to me a client last year. I don't sell a ton of real estate anymore because I don't have time, but very selectively I will take things that if they're close to the the homestead here, or I feel like I can actually do a proper job. But she referred me a listing over in Fountain Valley, which is 12 minutes, 15 minutes from my house, and talked to the seller. It was a fit for me to do it. I felt like I could help them. It was a divorce situation, and the wife took all the furniture. It was sparsely blah, blah, blah. It just wasn't showing very well. We brought in a stager. We got the house cleaned up. It didn't take more than a couple days to get it prepared, and the house was listed. I think we listed it at 1.49. Call it 1.5. It ended up selling for 1.7.
wow.
So it didn't even appraise. It appraised at 1.6, I think 1.650 or something around there. But the home showed so well with the staging, and it was such a nice property. The buyer didn't mind overpaying for the home. So staging does work. It absolutely works. And in the right circumstances, you absolutely have to have that in your tool belt.
100%.
Anyways, good webinar today, Kevin. Covered a lot of territory, and I don't mind when they go over half an hour when we're collaborating on good stuff.
For sure. No, very good stuff. Thank you, agents, for joining us on these Wednesday webinars. Get out there, make it a productive week and a great week, and be the agent you want to be in 2025. No excuses, guys. All right. I hope everybody has a great day, and we look forward to seeing you all on the webinar next week. Thank you.